was a fascist coup attempt. That's what we saw on Wednesday. We saw it in the people who stormed the Capitol building, and we also saw it in the more than 130 Republican members of the House of Representatives and the 7 senators who voted to try to overturn the election that Trump lost even after the storming of the Capitol building. This was fascism. Fascism is vicious, unrestrained white supremacy, police terror, male supremacy, vicious America #1 chauvinism that we saw manifested in the immigrants put in concentration camps on the border, and unleashed and unrestrained attacks on the environment of the very planet that we live under. Together with that is the denying of truth and also the turning aside of all the rules and norms of how the society has been governed, including overthrowing elections. Let's be clear about that. People were correct to say this was unprecedented in modern American history, but we must recognize that it is also rooted in American history. Those people who stormed the Capitol building are the political descendants of the white mobs that attacked civil rights marchers, the Ku Klux Klanners that murdered civil rights leaders and activists and bombed black churches. And I could take that all the way back to Reconstruction and the Confederacy. That's the history that this came out of. This must be stopped. And in doing that, an important step is that Trump gotta go. Trump must go now. He must go now because he organized and incited this fascist coup attempt, capping his 4 years of perpetrating a fascist agenda in this country. People say, well, he's going to be gone in 11 days, Carl. Why don't you just let him alone? He promised to be nice. First off, the man is a liar, a proven liar, and no promise to be nice should be accepted. He is the commander-in-chief of the U.S. military for the next 11 days. He can do irreparable damage around the world and in this country. He has got to go. Beyond that, the fascist battering ram that he unleashed on Wednesday is not going anywhere, even if he leaves the White House. They will still be in Congress, in the House of Representatives, in the Senate, on the federal bench, and those MAGA mobs will be spread throughout society. We have to deliver a firm repudiation of this to deal a setback to that fascist movement, because this is a fight that will continue past the inauguration. It will not disappear with attempts to work across the aisle. Trump has got to go, and it is important that people of goodwill, the decent people in this society, make that known. We cannot allow a marker to be set that a president who attempts a fascist coup and fails can walk away with no punishment, because that just opens it up for the next fascist to do a coup attempt that is better planned, more organized. That's how we have to do it, and it does have to come from below. It does have to come from the decent people, the 80 million people who voted against Trump, many of whom took to the streets to celebrate right after. And I was in the streets celebrating with them. I was down in Philadelphia at the time. We have to do this because if we leave it to the people on top, they will conciliate these fascists the way they have done for 4 years. Some of them will raise some criticisms, They will not act decisively to stop them. But we need the people who hate the white supremacy, who hate the male supremacy, who hate the attacks on immigrants, the destruction of the environment, the attacks on LGBTQ people. We need them to stand up and say, we reject and repudiate all of this mess.